Hey guys, have you ever felt discouraged by all the clutter in your own home? What if I told you that clutter wasn't just an inconvenience, and then it's actually costing you in ways you might not even realize? If you ever thought to yourself, this clutter has got to go, I'm gonna enforce that even more by sharing with you the 4 main ways that clutter's costing you. I hope you stay through the entire video as I share some practical takeaways so you can start it today so you can stop letting clutter cost you. Let's get into it. The first way clutter can cost you is your physical health. How's clutter going to affect your physical health? Well, here are some of the ways it might be costing you. Clutter can contribute to physical health issues like stress-related headaches, poor sleep, which could lead to sickness if you don't get enough sleep, and even respiratory problems. If you've got a lot of clutter, there's a chance you might have some dust, some mold, and even more that is just affecting your actual physical health. Next are safety risks. This can cause tripping hazards, accidents, and the inability to find things when you need them. But if you've got older folk in your house, a trip can lead to a hospital visit. So just be very careful. It's also an increased risk of fire spreading quicker in a cluttered home. There's just so many reasons. I'm gonna move on to the next one, which is time wasted. If your home's very cluttered, you might have to spend time searching for misplaced items and the increased stress of disorganization that affects your overall health. Let's talk about the solution. You have to come up with a plan and then you have to do it. Last year, I embarked on one of the most exciting 3 months, 12 weeks of my life, and that was to declutter my entire home. I'm sharing footage throughout this video so that you can see this is my actual clutter. There was a point where I had pulled out so many things out of my closets that I felt ill. Like I thought I needed to just lay down and take a nap. I was exhausted. It was sucking all my energy dry. Like I wanted to give up in the middle of it when I took all this out. You probably have seen that footage by the time you're getting to this part in the video. It was nauseating, and it's just something that you might not realize is happening because it might happen slowly, but over time, the clutter sets in. What I did is I read the book, The 12-Week Year. I'll leave the link down in the description. I designated 12 weeks to a massive declutter of the entire house. And what I did was I broke up my house into 12 zones. 1 zone per week was what I decided was manageable. And I went room by room, area by area, and I tackled that stuff. I trashed everything I didn't want anymore. I got the donation bags going. I donated like a fool. I mean, I was getting rid of everything that didn't serve us anymore in the house. Me and my son, we tackled this, and I've never been more proud and more happy with the results. So that's one way you could go about it. I highly recommend. But if you're not ready to do that yet, let me tell you some more. The second way clutter can cost you is the mental load that comes with clutter. Think about this scenario. You come up to your desk and you're ready to work, right? But your desk is filled with papers, empty water bottles, piles of, you don't even know what's in those piles. And it's overflowing with stuff because you've been letting this pile up and you didn't clear this off before you left work the day before. Versus you walking up to your desk, there's your computer, and there's nothing in your way. Which scenario Do you feel like you could get to work faster? Clearly, scenario 2. And this is something that will affect your productivity, right? If your mental load is heavy and you can't think, how well do you think you're going to perform? Clutter equals procrastination in my case. If I can't see the desk I want to work on, if I have so much clutter in my house, all I can think about is that clutter, and that's what I should be working on. And I can't do the things that I need to actually do. I don't know if you're like that or not. I don't know if you can operate in a sea of clothing and items. I cannot. It hinders me. It makes me slower, and I don't like it. And I'm not going to live like that. That's not the vibe that I want to live. I do not want to live in clutter. It feels terrible. It mentally weighs on you. If you don't think it does, think twice, because it probably does, at least to some degree. Clutter, without you even maybe realizing it, causes this low-grade level of stress and anxiety at all times because it's never clean. You're never in the place you want to be. Your space is not your sanctuary because it's filled with clutter, and that affects the way you think. It takes you longer to get things done. It takes you longer to get started because stuff is in the way. Don't let that hold you back anymore. I'm telling you, things are going to change. Things are going to change, and you're going to free up some mental space, and it's going to be like, wow, what did I do with my time before when I'm not thinking about clearing this space, and oh, look at the laundry piled up, and oh, I can't even open this drawer, or my famous open the closet and things jumping out at me. We don't want that anymore. Let's handle it. Let's talk about some solutions, because decision fatigue is also real. When you have to keep making all these little micro decisions just to like move pile to pile to pile, you're using up mental space that's precious, right? So come up with some rules that you're going to implement to lighten the mental load. Like maybe your sink has to be clean before you go to bed. Like you can't let any dirty dishes be in there. Maybe you have a 10-minute tidy at the end of the night. If it's just you, you're going around the house doing it. You're putting your blanket away that you were laying on the couch with and you fold it up. You make sure there's nothing on your bathroom sink. Whatever the rules are that make sense to you, that will make your life easier, come up with some boundaries, with some rules that make sense, and implement them so it cuts down on the clutter and frees up that mental space. If you've made it this far in the video, please know this channel has a goal of reaching 100,000 subscribers. So if you haven't hit subscribe yet and you love talking about topics that I talk about on this channel, frugal living, budgeting, saving money, and a splash of minimalism, it's Minimalist March right now, please hit subscribe for more. Thank you in advance. Okay, we've talked about physical clutter, we've talked about mental clutter, and next we're moving on to emotional clutter. Emotional clutter, what is that? Well, listen, I know a lot of us don't like talking about our feelings, but it is worth mentioning that clutter can cause feelings of guilt and shame. How do I know this? Because I'm a clutter bug, and I have felt the guilt and the shame when somebody pops by in the past. I basically have a panic running around the house trying to make sure that this house doesn't look the way I am living. When I'm cluttered up, it's awful. I feel embarrassed. I'm embarrassed, like, oh gosh, they think I live like this. But guess what? I was living like that. Like that was my default mode, is in a state of clutter. You guys know, right? I'm a single parent with lots of jobs. So I'm running around all the time trying to make magic happen. And sometimes the house gets a little messy. I don't think it's dirty. It's not dirty, but it can get a little messy and cluttered. So taking control of this has been life-changing. If you're watching this right now and you're thinking, oh my gosh, if somebody just stopped by my house right now, I'd be mortified. Please take this video seriously. You don't want to live like that. I swear it's life-changing when you can just, someone pops by, you're like, yeah, come on in. Without being like, oh, what have I got to move? That's how I used to live. And it's very freeing, and you feel more confident when your house is clean and decluttered. Like, that's the real truth right there. You're going to feel more confident. It's going to be less stressful, and you're not going to feel guilty or shameful anymore because you got this. It also cuts down on frustration. Imagine you're in like the dating phase of life and you want to have someone over and your house is a cluttered disaster. That's going to make you feel insecure. It's going to make you feel awkward. Like, oh yeah, come in, but watch out for the piles. Oh, don't step there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, or just your regular family members coming over. You're going to be less frustrated when less stuff is in the way. It feels so good. Lastly, when talking about emotional clutter, I mean, I could go on and on about that, but the big main thing that decluttering can give you is kind of like the control back, like back in the driver's seat. When you have a cluttered house, you feel kind of out of control, and that can make you emotionally spiral, which could even end up like, you might even need, and I'm not saying necessarily, but like you might need therapy to deal with why you are being such a clutter bug. Or you might need some help. You might need some deep thoughts to figure out why is this happening? Sorry, my cat's hitting the tripod. Why is this happening? Why do I keep doing this over and over again? Why aren't I handling it? That might be something worth exploring, because when you've taken care of this, you guys, you're going to come back to this video and you're going to be like, my life is changing now that I'm not feeling embarrassed about my clutter. I'm feeling more confident. I'm spending less time doing these things, and you can actually live your life. That's what I think will happen in a fantastic way. So like I was just saying, a possible solution, get help. If you need a therapist to like talk this through, there's a lot going on when this is your actions, right? Just like some other things that you might do, there's always a deeper cause, right? It's not just because, it's not usually as surface as it appears. So you could get some help. That's one way that you could deal with it. But the other thing is, if it's emotionally tough to do this, do it in small little increments. You don't have to implement a whole 12-week year. Start with a drawer. Start with one drawer and clear it out. And then when that one's done, do another small drawer. One little cabinet. Start small so it's not overwhelming. I promise you, the results are worth it. And last but not least, this is a frugal living budgeting channel, right? It will cost you financially. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. If you are cluttered and disorganized, you could be missing bills if you're a paper bill person and you don't have a process, you don't have a system. You might be missing bills that you need to pay. And what does that equal? Late fees. If you are disorganized, you haven't set it up on auto pay, late fees, you know how I feel about late fees. That's just one example, but there's so much more. If you can't find what you're looking for because your house is such a mess, what are you going to do? You're going to buy it again. You know you have 3 of them somewhere, but here we are, and you have to go buy it again. If you just decluttered, you would find those 3 things, the 3 duplicates. You don't need 4 of these things. It's costing you money. If you have so much stuff in your house and you need a storage unit to hold the things. I did that once when I was in college. Guess what ended up happening? I didn't even miss a single thing in that storage unit. And there I was paying for things to sit in some square footage that I didn't need or use or ever wanted to see again. I know that's not everybody, but I'm just letting you know. Some people are doing that right now. The solution? Declutter. De-own. De-own is even better. That means get rid of it. Have less. Be ruthless with what you need versus what you have just because you've forgotten about it or you think it's important, but over time you'll know. Is it important? Do you need this? Do you love this? If you don't, what is it doing in your home? Some simple things you could do is sell some of the things that you no longer need but are still useful, but someone else could use. You could sell those. And the other thing that I really want you to get out of this too, big picture, is commit to improving your finances. This is all connected in ways you might not even realize. But listen, when you are organized and you have less stuff in your home, you know what you have. You might be shopping for clothes this season, right? Because the season's changing. And you might be, I don't have this, but you actually do. Or you have something very similar that you could repurpose and use, or, it's not exactly what you want, but like a sweater, you can restyle it. If you don't know what you have for clothing because you just have it like shoved in the closet, shoved in drawers, and you have no idea what's in there, it's gonna cost you money when you start shopping for things you don't need because you didn't even know you had the things you need. You can improve your finances by being more organized. When you know where your bills are, when you know where your important documents are, and when you clear up your physical space, it's gonna clear up the mental space. Maybe you don't want to budget because you can't even think about that. Your house is a disaster. You're trying to do all the things. You're trying to work. You're trying to live. And you're like, I'm not going to budget. I don't have time for that. If you declutter your home, you will. If you declutter, I know you're thinking like, Kate, decluttering your home is not the solution to everything. It's not the solution to everything, but it's a solution to a lot. Really, really. Those that know. Let me know in the comments. Do you know this to be true? When you have a less cluttered home, has it improved your life in any way? Has it changed your life in any way? Any minimalists out there having practiced minimalism and reducing the things that are no longer necessary? What has that done? Please let me know. Let me know your thoughts, because I guarantee the majority is going to say, I like living in a less cluttered home. Minimalism has helped. And I don't know anybody that's like, I love living in a mess. If you do, you got to do you. But if you are looking for ways to change, I hope this video is inspiring, because clutter can cost you physically. Think about the doctor bills when you're getting sick, mentally, emotionally, and financially. Don't think it doesn't. It does. I challenge you this week to find one spot in your house that you can declutter and feel great about. Just one. Think about it right now. Let me know in the comments what area, drawer, closet. Maybe it's your car. Is your car a disaster? Think about that. One spot. Is it the bathroom drawer? Is it your junk drawer that you can't even find what is in this junk drawer? Is it truly junk? Let me know in the comments. What are you going to tackle? The KSquad loves to read the comments down below and get inspired by your comments. So please leave one. Let us know. I shared a video on my capsule kitchen. You've all heard of a capsule wardrobe, right? But have you heard of a capsule kitchen? Check out this video next so you can learn all about it. See you in the next video. Bye, guys.